My name is Kelly James Barker. You're watching Spotlight on the Ozarks. Tonight, my special guest is a lady that's married to a guy that was on last week, if you watched, and if you didn't, shame on you. His name was Randall Chowning. And my guest tonight is Jaynie Chowning. And she's got a lot of interesting things about herself and about her life. And then she's also going to tell us later on how to get a hold of Randall for his CDs. So come back and listen to Jaynie Chowning tonight on Spotlight on the Ozarks.
Hello friends, this is Rodney Lay Jr. Are you hankering for some good country cooking? Well, look no further than the Highway 59 Cafe just north of Diamond, Missouri. Visit Miss Renee, Deb, and all the fine staff there. They also have an event center for class reunions or any large indoor event you have coming up. Yep, Highway 59 Cafe. Where the food is good and the coffee is always hot. 3 miles north of Diamond, Missouri.
Okay, and we're back after those messages. Oh my goodness, I just have to get tickled the stuff that happens behind the scenes. Jaynie Chowning, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You bet. I'm glad to have you guys on. We had your husband last week, so we got you this week. Your father, I want to just start talking just right out the gate about your dad. His name is
Simon.
Simon.
Mm-hmm. S-I-M-A-N.
A-N, okay. And that's odd too. You don't spell names like I would spell names.
Yeah.
You know, I spelled Randall wrong because you told me about it.
Oh, gosh.
What happened is that R-A-N-D-E-L-L or E-L whatever, but his is R-A-N-D-L-E.
Correct.
And most of them are. But I have a friend of mine that was on In the Heat of the Night. Remember the TV show? Mm-hmm. And his name is Randall Franks. And he spells it R-A-N-D-E-L-L. So that's what I was thinking. So I said that, and then Miss Jaynie, she sends me this message, goes, I want to let you know his name is spelled blah, blah. I'm like, yes, ma'am, I'm sorry. Anyway.
Common mistake.
Yeah, and I make a lot of common mistakes. But,
so do I.
But I wanted to mention your dad, Simon, with A-N, because he is very instrumental and on something that happened here in the Ozarks. So why don't you tell our folks about that?
Well, he was a founding member of the Country Music Association.
Wow.
And it was called the Disc Jockey Convention before it was called the Country Music Association.
Did not know that.
Mm-hmm. And that group really... it's still very viable. You watch the Country Music Awards probably each year. That's the Country Music Association.
Wow.
And they also started the Country Music Foundation, which has the Hall of Fame in Nashville.
Wow.
So he was very instrumental in that. And he booked acts. He booked acts for KWTO radio, for Corn's a Crackin' Show, and just all of the talent that was on.
And that was back in the 50s, was it?
Well, even a little bit earlier.
Okay.
And he brought people like Chet Atkins.
Yeah. That's before the people knew who Chet Atkins was.
Right, that's right.
So.
And Daddy said, no, we need to call you Chet, not Chester, which was his real name,
Right.
So they called him Chet, and Daddy helped him get his first record deal.
Wow.
And he went to West Plains one time. He was coming back from Memphis from a meeting, and somebody had told him that there was a kid in West Plains that was a pretty good singer.
I know who you're talking about.
So Daddy stopped by there, and he was working at the meat market, and Daddy introduced himself and said, would you play me a song? So Porter Wagner came out from behind the meat market counter and sat down and played him a song, and Daddy said, we need to get you up here on KWTO. And
wow.
So that became a lifelong friendship, and he got him his first record deal. And
man.
Then it segued from the radio into television.
Yeah.
And that's when they started the Ozark Jubilee. And
over on Ozark Public TV, wasn't it?
It was actually on ABC.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
It was on ABC, and Daddy went to New York and sold them on the idea of having this show
Wow.
here in the Ozarks. And it was the only nationally televised country music variety show.
So that was before Hee Haw.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, way before.
Yeah.
And I think actually the Jubilee probably influenced Hee
I
Haw.
was going to say, because a lot of those stars probably started on the Jubilee.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Grand Ole Opry at the time didn't think television would last.
Oh, that's funny.
So Daddy was bringing all these artists to Springfield, Missouri to be on the Ozark Jubilee.
I wish Springfield would have went ahead and been the Nashville. That would have been cool.
A lot of people said that, but it didn't work out that way.
No,
But
well.
different things, actually, because Nashville has more of the record labels and
Right.
and business end of things. And
Right, yeah.
So,
But, okay, so when did it move over to Ozarks Public TV then?
oh, that didn't happen till, I mean, they've got some recordings. They made kinescopes at the time,
Okay.
which are great big round tapes. And you
Right.
have to have a special machine
Yeah.
to watch them.
Yeah.
And so Daddy owned all those kinescopes.
Wow.
And he gave them to the Country Music Foundation in Nashville. But some of them have been converted to DVD, and that's when Ozarks Public Television started showing some of them.
And they actually they never did really show the shows, did they? Don't they show them like when they're having a fundraiser or stuff?
No, they actually
Show the
show
show?
some of the episodes.
I'd have liked that scene. I wish they'd bring them back.
Yeah, they're on there. Some of them are on there, so you should
Okay.
go on there and watch them. They're really funny, because it's live TV, and
Yeah.
what happens, happens.
Yeah,
So
I would have been a mess back in those days.
you'd have done fine.
I'd have been shot right there. We won't talk about that anyway. Okay, so what's it like? America wants to know, and to be married to somebody like Randall Chowning.
It is never boring.
I bet.
I can tell you that for a fact. He's
Well-
always doing something.
How did, if it's not too personal, how did you meet him?
We went to the same junior high school.
Okay.
He was a year older. I didn't really know him. And then we went to Glendale High School. I didn't really know him in Glendale. I just knew who he was.
Uh-huh.
And then after high school, when he started the Ozark Mountain Daredevils, of course, everyone in Springfield was watching that to
Yeah.
see what was happening. And
Yeah.
and so that was really interesting. And then years later, he'd been married and divorced, and I'd been married and divorced. And
Well, me too. We've all been
yep, been there. And he was living in Nashville and contacted me. And
there. Wow.
so
That's how it happened.
that's how it happened.
That's cool. I don't know. I was always waiting on some country gal to get a hold of me, and she never did. No, I'm not. I don't float that direction with a country boy. I'll tell you that right now.
I hear you.
Oh my! Do you? What do you do to stay busy over there?
Me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I worked, my whole adult life. Have 2 daughters, and now I have.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you very much.
Today's Mother's Day.
That's right. So I always was working, and I was always interested in what Daddy was doing, and
Yeah.
and then my brother went to college in Nashville at Vanderbilt. Then he went to law school at MU here in Missouri.
Wow.
Then he went back to Nashville and started practicing entertainment law.
Wow.
So it's like I was always associated with it. Daddy booked big bands at Half a Hill in Springfield. He booked Glenn Miller and Tommy Dorsey
Oh, I
and a
love
bunch
that.
of those people.
Yeah.
And so I was always around it. And then he booked all the acts at the Shrine Mosque.
Man.
And he booked the grandstand shows at the fair every
Wow.
year. So there was, I just grew up around all of that stuff. And sometimes Scott and Daddy put me in the ticket booth during the day of the show, and I'd sell the tickets while they'd be out talking to people.
Having somebody like your dad around when I was young would have been wonderful. I don't know if I had enough talent that he would have said, "Yeah, I want you to come be on the show," but that was life changing when he had them guys come be on the Jubilee.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if I would have ever made that, and I would have been that old and before I could have done it, I would have definitely, I'm pretty sure, made myself a name.
Yes, and those people that were on there, because the Opry didn't think that television was going to last, coming to Springfield, Missouri and being on the Ozark Jubilee was a huge opportunity because it equated to lots of record sales, more personal appearances, a lot more money. It was just a great opportunity for those people.
That's awesome.
So Patsy Cline and Johnny Cash and June Carter and just all kinds of stars.
They were all on
there.
Yeah. And so you met all these people, right?
A lot of them came to our house, and that was fun.
Oh, well, we'll have to talk about that here in just a minute. We'll go to a break here, and we'll come back, and I want to hear more about that. So,
okie doke.
That's interesting. All right, my guest tonight is Mrs. Jaynie Chowning, and I'm from the old school where I call a lot of from the old church school, I guess you call it. We call everybody Miss so and so or Mr. so and so by their first name, Mr. Randall, usually, something like that. Anyway, going to commercial now.
Hello folks, my name's Jason Richardson. I'm the lead guitar player for Kelly's Country Junction, and I'm here to tell you about MJT Guitars, made in Carthage, Missouri. If you would like a custom-made vintage-style guitar, then you need to talk to Mark Jenny. He'll help you out with the style, feel, and sound you are looking for. They specialize in custom-made finishes and are priced affordable, made with you in mind for the perfect sound and fit. MJT Guitars, made for the working man.
Well, we're back after those commercial breaks. My guest tonight is Jaynie Chowning. We were talking about all the people that you had met through your dad and all the stuff that he done, Cy Simon. Was he raised around Springfield, around the Ozarks, or where did he come from?
Yes. He was actually born on Normal Street, right over by MSU.
Okay.
In the front room. I went there about a year ago and knocked on the door. Some college guys were living there. They were so nice. I said, my dad was born in this living room. Can I just see the living room?
Wow.
And so they let me see the living room. And
that's awesome.
So he was born on Normal Street and grew up there. When he was 13 years old, he took an orange crate, put wheels on it, put dry ice in it, and went around town selling popsicles and peanuts, sometimes popcorn, so he could make enough money to go to St. Louis and see the Cardinals play.
Oh, wow.
And one of the people he sold to was Ralph Foster, who owned KWTO.
Okay.
And he went in there when he was just a kid and said, I'm selling popsicles. And Uncle Ralph said, okay, yeah, we'll take a popsicle. So Daddy went around to every person in the building and gave them a popsicle. And then went back to Ralph and said, well, you owe me so much. And he said, why so much? And Daddy said, well, I gave one to everybody in the building. And Ralph hadn't intended that, but it was funny.
So he was always a businessman.
He was always an entrepreneur, always. Then he went back to Ralph when he got out of the Navy and said, I could make you a lot of money. You need to hire me.
Wow.
And Uncle Ralph said, well, okay. And Daddy said, well, if I make you a lot of money, will you give me some of it?
Yeah.
And he said, okay. So Daddy went to work for KWTO.
Wow.
Look at all the talent.
He did know what he was doing, too.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, just look at his record. A lot of people will tell you that kind of stuff, and they don't really know what they're doing. So, wow, that's awesome. I evidently don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, you're doing great.
I'm doing, yeah. Okay. Tell me about some of the folks that you said they come to your home, the stars. Yeah. What's some of the stars that actually came to your home then?
Well, Shug Fisher did.
Wait a minute. That's the guy that played on a lot of westerns.
Yes.
And he was on Beverly Hillbillies. Okay, now a lot of folks don't maybe know the name, but they would know him if they saw his face.
They would know him.
Yeah.
And he loved to come here, and he'd go fishing and hunting with Daddy. And,
Oh,
he was really cute.
Yeah.
And
He wasn't very big, was he?
no, he wasn't very big.
Yeah.
Just really a sweet person.
Wow.
And Eddie Arnold came, Tex Ritter,
Oh, wow.
Smiley Burnett. Smiley was a great cook. And Daddy called Mother one day and said, I'm bringing Smiley home for supper. And she said, okay. And she was fixing corned beef and cabbage, which stinks up the house, you know. But
Oh,
it's really
yeah.
good.
But boy, it sure tastes good.
Oh, it does. And Smiley walked in and said, corned beef and cabbage, my favorite. And then Mother found out that he was a gourmet cook. And she said, I'm not cooking for him anymore.
Wow.
So from then on, he'd call her and give her a grocery list. And she'd go to the store, and then he'd cook. So
Oh, you can't beat that.
not a bad deal.
Now, Smiley Burnett. And see, isn't that the fellow that was on Petticoat Junction?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He was really a lot of fun, really smart guy, and a very good character actor.
Yeah. Didn't he do westerns, too?
Yeah, he did a lot of
Okay.
westerns.
With, I'm not sure who.
Gene
it was.
Autry.
Okay, Gene Autry. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The minute you said that, I knew that. So, what was it like being a little girl, a kid, and going to the show where they actually shot the Ozark Jubilee? And where was that shot at?
Well, there was a theater downtown. It's no longer there. It was the Jewel Theater.
Jewel. Okay.
And so I would just beg Daddy to go to work with him on Saturdays for rehearsal and then see the show, you know, in the evening.
Yeah.
And so I got to go quite a bit,
Wow.
especially for rehearsal.
Yeah.
And it was just always fun hanging out. Red Foley was the star of the show.
Yep.
And he stayed with us when he first came to Springfield. Daddy talked him into coming to Springfield and being the star of the Ozark Jubilee.
Yeah.
So when he first came to town, he stayed with us because his family wasn't there yet. And he didn't have a house. And he was the most loving, kind person. He adored children.
Wow.
So he was fun. And
Wow. Okay. Now, you telling me you've got kids.
Yes.
How many kids you got?
I have two girls,
Okay.
Betsy and Wendy. And
do they do anything with music? Or
no,
No.
no, they don't. Wendy has children, and Betsy has her own business called To Be Organized.
Okay.
She's a professional organizer.
Okay, cool. What about, I think I've already asked you, what do you do the most of those, but you've done other things. Tell us about some of the things you've been part of.
Well, I worked at the courthouse for a while in the county clerk's office for quite a while. Then I worked.
You might have seen my name run through there once or twice.
Well, you know, I wasn't going to mention that,
Yeah.
but
Thank you.
oh, I'm teasing.
Don't mention it. I actually did get in trouble in Springfield once.
But
So,
you got out of it, obviously,
well,
somehow.
I'm here.
Yes, thank goodness.
Yes.
Then when Randall and I moved to Nashville, and at that time, my brother had just lost his receptionist, and I said, Scott, I'll come in and answer the phone for you till you find somebody.
Yeah.
So I was there till we moved back to Springfield.
Wow, that's neat.
And that was fun. I did charity requests for Tim McGraw and Billy Gilman, this kid that Scott was working with. I did his fan club.
Yeah, I remember him. Well, he's just a kid now. He's not very old.
No,
is he?
he's not
Yeah,
very old.
So, you also have a brother you're telling us about, and tell us a little bit about what he does.
He's managing Tim McGraw, and it's a full-time job, of course.
I would imagine.
Yeah, and he's been doing that for about 25 years. And
Wow.
yeah,
Now, managing Tim for that long?
yes,
Wow.
yeah. So that it was fun for me because Scott was managing Tim when we lived there, and so
Yeah.
I got to do a lot of things with them. Our youngest grandson Luke was born while we were in Nashville, and there's only a month's difference in age from Tim's youngest child and our grandson Luke.
Okay.
So I'd take those kids and we'd have play dates and do all
That's
kinds of
cool.
fun stuff.
When I was younger, you can't tell by looking at me now, but when I was younger, we can't tell by looking at me at all, but I got a lot of Indian blood. So I looked a lot like Tim McGraw when we were young. We looked alike, but But now I don't know what happened. I went this way and Tim went that way. Here I am. But yeah, these people used to tell me, "You look like Tim McGraw." I go, "Well, thank you, man. That's cool." Back when he come out with that
Indian Outlaw.
yes, that was it. Yeah, he rode on a motorcycle. So I did all that, boy. Yeah, those were the days.
Mm-hmm.
I could ride a bike now if I had a 3-wheeler.
Yes.
I don't think I could hold up a 2-wheeler anymore. If I was to upset it, and I did that a lot, but back in the day I could pick it up. So I could see me trying to pick it up now.
It'd be a different story now.
I had to call Mike, the cameraman. "Hey, Mike, I'm out here. I've upset, and I think I've hurt myself."
Help. Call 911.
Call 199, one of those numbers. I need some help.
Oh, that's funny.
Do you guys ever go down to Branson, do anything?
No, not really. I mean, we go down there just for fun.
Just for fun,
Take
yeah.
my grandsons down there to see different things. But
Do you know Terry Wayne Sanders?
no, I don't believe I
Well,
do.
you need to meet him. He's a good friend. He's also co-host on the show here. He's the Branson, at this point, 7 times Branson not entertainer, comedian of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, so he does a lot of Silver Dollar City and stuff like that. And he plays Grandma Beulah. So Grandma Beulah did an interview with me, actually. Yeah, and
I hope you were polite.
well, it's her that's not polite.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
excuse me.
She had hit me in the head the week before.
Oops.
Yeah, and knocked me out. So, but of course that's all made up. But
Yeah.
that was the storyline. But I'll tell you something that did happen for real. Terry got stuck out here. That's why those cones are out there, so people can't pull on it. And he got stuck, and so he couldn't get out as it rained a lot that night. And so he says, "I'm stuck, guys." And so Mike and a couple other guys were here, and I go out, but I took a camera. I said, "Oh, because see, I'm a filmer. I'm going to get this on film." So I'm just standing there minding my own business. Mike and
that's
them's over there trying to push him out. He steps on it. Here comes the mud. Whoosh,
yeah.
all over me. And I'm like, man,
Bet you were a mess.
well, yeah, well, got all my
A muddy
pants.
mess.
Yeah, I was. And my pants got all messed up. But so you need to meet him, though. He's
that'd be
a
fun.
nice guy. So, what about the future of what are you doing? Are you just sort of like mellowing out now? And
Well, my mother had Alzheimer's, and so I took care of her for a lot of years after we moved back from Nashville.
okay,
And then I've been helping Randall, all along,
right.
just
That's-
coordinate dates.
Like you said,
and
that's
sell
probably
CDs.
kind of that's a
He's a
full-time-
full-time job.
Yeah, I can see where that could happen. Yeah, shaking his head. He's saying we got 1 minute.
He's wanting me off.
Yeah, we may have more than 1 minute, but he's going 1 minute.
Yeah.
That's it. 1 minute. Yeah. See, we got 2
Yes,
minutes.
we got 2.
2 minutes.
He was going to cheat us out of a
He
minute.
was. I was going to come up short.
That's right.
That means I'm going to have to put extra commercials in. That's not right. That's the last time Randall Chowning gets to be the timekeeper.
Yes.
Producer?
Yeah, executive producer over there. Oh, well, anyway. But I've had a lot of fun with you guys today, and we're going to do a wrap up here in a minute.
Okay.
But I want you to tell us what your website is or whatever. and
Sure.
We'll put that on the screen where they can get hold of Randall and you. And if they wanted for Randall to come and play, Randall, okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
because you never know, people might go, "Hey, yeah, we'd love to have you come play." So,
Well, he's
but
doing
there's
some parties this
there's
summer.
a stipulation though. If you have Randall come, I might come too, just to come along. And so
Great idea.
that probably won't happen. I'm just letting you know, maybe.
You never know.
You never know.
It could be.
You never look. Here's how I feel about the whole thing. I'm like a dog in the back of the truck going to town. I'm not the guy in the cab of the truck, but I'm still in the back of the truck, and I am going to go to the party. They don't know it, but I'm coming.
See, there you go.
That's how I've lived my whole life.
That's a good deal.
Now we're going to go to a commercial before I cry. But we'll be right back. He didn't cheat us, see. I know we milked 2 minutes out of that.
Yeah, we did.
It's Fonzie. Hey, Fonz. Did you watch Kelly James in the 70s review show?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's hey.
Hey.
Hey, Georgette, did you know Kelly's Country Junction comes on this station?
And Kelly Lee James is my favorite.
Well, a lot of folks say I look like him.
In your dreams.
Hard to believe you're Joanne's little sister. I met you were 6 years old in that sandbox. I should have let that cat covered you up.
Homer, listen.
You listen.
No.
Don't start on me. Okay, we're back after those messages. Miss Jaynie, we're going to do a little wrap up here, and thank you for being my guest tonight.
Oh, thank you for having me.
But when we went to the commercial, Randall over here was talking about, was it your grandfather that had something to do with professional wrestling?
It was Daddy.
Your dad? Oh, your
Yeah,
dad.
Cy Simon.
Okay.
He had the wrestling franchise.
Man, he did everything. That's
he
cool.
did. He was just into everything. But he brought the wrestling matches to the Shrine Mosque. And, of course, he set up concessions because nobody liked popcorn better than Daddy. So he had concessions, and he brought the wrestling guys to town, and they'd come to town.
Wow.
They'd ride together, but when they got outside of Springfield, they'd split up in two different cars because they were supposed to hate each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they'd do the wrestling match, and then they'd leave and catch up with each other somewhere out of town. But
Sure.
all was going well until Daddy had a Japanese wrestler booked the night they bombed Pearl Harbor.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of put a damper on the wrestling franchise, and then he decided he'd join the Navy, and so he sold the franchise.
He sold that franchise and got into country music.
Well, he'd been doing that too.
Okay.
But he did love the wrestling matches.
Wow. I would have loved to have met him.
Oh, you'd have enjoyed him.
Yeah, that would have been great to have met somebody like that. And I've heard about him a lot. You know, Tom Carter from PBS, PBS from Ozark Public TV. He told me about you guys. Told me about you and your dad. And then I found out that Randall was married to you. I went, wow, this is a package deal. This is great. But I've sure enjoyed having you on. And
Thank you.
So Randall's over there. He's our timekeeper. He's doing this. I mean, he ought to just do this for a living if we could pay him.
Yeah.
He's good. He's like this, folks.
Wrap it up.
Got 1 minute. That's it. You're out of here. So, but anyway, Miss Jaynie, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. This was fun.
I want to have Randall come back, hopefully, after he gets his CD done.
Sure.
And maybe we can do another show. And this time, bring guitar with him. Maybe we can do some music.
Yeah, that'd
and
be
stuff.
great.
Yeah.
And did you want me to give you our email address?
Yes, sure. Whatever email, give me if you have a website, and then we'll direct people how to get on Randall's Facebook.
Okay. Our email address is JaynieandRandall@gmail.com, and it's JaynieandRandle @gmail.com. And then Randall has a Facebook, Randall Chowning.
Okay.
And then I've got a Facebook, so any of those.
They can talk on your Facebook, well, they might on Randall's, but they can like it, though. It's one way to like it.
That's
and,
right.
and then Randall just said that he didn't really keep up with it that much, so
Yeah.
probably you would want to get hold of Jaynie Chowning Facebook. Yeah. So
Correct.
But hopefully we'll get up the website. Does you have a website? It's an email.
It's an email and then his Facebook.
Okay, that's what we'll put up then. That's enough. They'll be able to get a hold of him.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and get hold of you guys.
Yes.
Maybe somebody else have a talk show they want you on,
Well, there you go.
and they might pay you.
Well, this has been so much fun.
Thank you. People like, how much money people like if you're on TV, you make money. They go, how much you
Wrong.
make? How much you make over doing that show? And I said, not for nothing. It's my show. I made it up. I just started it. You know, we had the cameras and the sound, and I called Mike. I said, let's just do a show, Mike. So we did 2 of them, and I called which I already have a show on Farm and Ranch, which is this channel. And so I said, hey, I got a new show I want to pitch to you. And they said, we like it. So I said, okay. That's how it happened.
That's great.
Yeah. Now, if we can just figure out a way to make money. You think on that. You've got your daddy's genes. Think on it. Get back with me.
Okay.
Okay. My guest has been Jaynie Chowning. And you'll be back too sometime, I hope.
Oh, I'd love to.
All right. All right. Well, we'll be back next week with Spotlight on the Ozarks. I'll have another guest, and this time I really don't know who it's going to be, but we'll have somebody. So till then, we'll see. Oh, it's so organized.